Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you can tell from the title of this video, today I'm going to be showing you guys how I got this makeup look, which is actually kind of my everyday makeup look. Obviously my makeup changes from day to day depending on what I'm doing, so it can sometimes look like this, it sometimes looks more dramatic, it sometimes looks more natural, but this is the kind of makeup look that I've been going for recently and kind of like on an everyday basis. One of my lovely subscribers did ask me to film this video because she was really interested to see what my kind of everyday makeup routine looked like, so that is what I'm doing for you today. So if you wanted to see how I got this makeup look, then just keep watching. So what I've been doing literally every single day before my everyday makeup routine is using this Origins Ginseng Refreshing Eye Cream. This says it's good for brightening and depuffing, which is why I really enjoy it, because I have really puffy eyes. So I like to just get a bit on my ring finger and then just literally pop that underneath my eyes. It's kind of got this almost like brightening effect as well. Like it's kind of not really like shimmery, but it's got these like light reflecting particles. I feel like I could be making that up because I don't actually know. And obviously, as you guys will know if you watch my channel before, I love my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. So this is what I use literally every single day as my moisturiser. This one is just a mini one, but I need to get the full size one again because I absolutely love this moisturiser. So I like to put quite a generous amount of this on my skin because my skin does get quite dry, especially kind of like this time of year. So I am one of those people that owns about 20 different foundations. To be honest, I probably own more than 20 foundations. My foundation drawer is disgusting. Like, it's so overloaded. I have way too many foundations. One person does not need that many foundations, but I love trying out foundations. So on an everyday basis, I do tend to sort of switch up my foundation, but I have been loving a new duo at the moment, like a new sort of combination. So what I've actually been doing is mixing together this Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. This is in the shade 120, and I have also been mixing in with that the collection. This is the Lasting Perfection Weightless foundation. This one is in the shade Warm Beige 3, and for some reason this combination is just really beautiful on the skin. Then what I have also been doing is mixing in the Iconic London Illuminating Drops. These ones are in the shade Original that I have, and I just find that it gives a really nice glowy dewy finish when you mix these in. So I usually just do about one drop. Sometimes I don't do this every single day, but when I want more of a glowy look, I always add this in, and I really have been loving the way that it's coming out on the skin. So yeah, I'm just going to mix my little concoction together, and what I like to do is just use a beauty blender to sort of apply that to the skin. My foundation does usually end up like one shade darker than my normal skin colour, just because I am quite pale naturally and I don't really like that look, because I find that I just look a little bit unwell. Because my hair is quite dark and I have quite dark eyes and brows, I feel like sometimes on me it's not always the most flattering. So I do embrace my pale skin, but I do like to go just like a touch darker on my foundation. So a concealer that I've actually really been loving and reaching for literally every single day is the MUA Pro Base Full Coverage Concealer. This one is in the shade 120, and I literally love this concealer. It was £2 or £2.50 I think from Superdrug, but actually I prefer this one to my NARS concealer, which is crazy to me because that one is literally £24. This one is £2. This is just such a good concealer. I really have been enjoying using this at the moment. What I've also not been doing with my concealer is overloading my under eye too much with concealer, because I find that if I put too much on, it can look quite dry under my eyes, especially in the winter time. So I don't actually put as much concealer on as I used to do. I've just basically used it where I actually need it, and then obviously I'm just going to blend that in with my beauty blender again. Obviously this is a slightly paler shade than my skin, but obviously for under the eyes you do want it to be a little bit brighter under there, just to sort of brighten everything up. So for powder, what I've actually been doing is not really powdering too much under my eyes as well, because I feel like it makes my under eye look quite dry. So what I've been doing is taking a really kind of wispy brush. This is kind of like a duo fibre brush. It's very kind of, it's not very dense, it's quite sort of loose. And then what I do is basically just take any powder. I'm not really fussy with powder when I do this sort of technique, just because you can't really tell anyway. This one I'm just taking is the Hourglass one in my Hourglass palette, and literally all I've been doing is just basically running a little tiny bit of pressed powder along that line under my eye, and what this does is just stops your concealer from creasing, but it doesn't actually over powder your eye so that it looks dry and crusty. I'm actually just gonna mix a little bit more of my little foundation concoction and put some down my neck, because I kind of didn't really make enough to go down my neck and it's looking rather pale. By the way, if you keep seeing an extra light come on when I look into this mirror, I'm actually using the Simple Human mirror, which has got a light to it. So that's the mirror that I always use to do my makeup as well, which I will say makes a massive difference to your makeup game, because this mirror literally gives you the perfect lighting to do your makeup no matter where you are. So it's literally like you're kind of like looking into a window like to do your makeup, so it gives you such perfect lighting, which I use it literally every single day. If you haven't got one of these Simple Human mirrors, they are expensive. This one was $260, so they are expensive, but they are so worth the investment. Like, if you can afford to buy yourself this mirror, I have got a review on my channel, which was a review that I did ages ago, so it's probably a really rubbish quality video. I'll link it in the description box if you're interested, but you really need to get one of these mirrors if you haven't, because honestly it will change your life. I'm not even joking. So the next thing that I've been doing is contouring with this Kevyn Aucoin contour powder. This is in the shade Light, and this is like the perfect contour shade for me. Obviously I've got very pale skin, so this just gives me the perfect kind of shadow without looking muddy and cakey on the skin. And what I've been doing is just taking the Charlotte Tilbury powder and sculpt brush. This is kind of like a small pointed brush, and I've obviously just been using that to contour my cheeks and chisel out my cheekbones. Because this is such a natural colour, it doesn't really look like you've contoured at all, it just literally looks like you have cheekbones. So can you just see how it gives me like a tiny bit of a shadow, and this side I don't have anything. My stomach is literally rumbling. I am so hungry right now. Then I just like to contour the double chin, because I do have a little bit of a double chin and I don't want it. So now for bronzer, I've actually really been loving the Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow. I actually have this in one of her palettes that she's recently brought out, but it's exactly the same colour as the shade in the Bronze and Glow, and I've just really been enjoying this for bronzing up my skin at the moment. It's actually a very similar shade to the contour powder, but it just is that tiny bit warmer and a little bit more dark, so it works quite nicely for me as a bronzer. So I just use that to just warm up the skin on kind of like the forehead and on the cheeks as well, and just a little bit down my nose. And then I do like to take a little bit down my neck as well, just to blend everything together. For blush, I've really been loving this Nip and Fab blusher palette, and I always, to be honest, I use every shade in this. Today I'm going to be using more of the sort of rosy pink one, and to be honest, I just use the same brush that I use for my bronzer, and I'm just going to lightly dust that on the cheeks. I'm really not that fussy with blush, to be honest. Like, I could pretty much use any blush and like it. Like, I feel like with blush it's just quite an easy product to get right. Like, you don't really need to spend a lot on blush. It's just kind of is what it is, in my opinion. I do really enjoy these shades, so that's why I like this palette a lot. Then what I usually do is I take this very dusty, because I haven't used it in a while, this big Charlotte Tilbury brush, and I basically just go over my whole cheeks and blend everything together. Now for highlighter, I've really been loving, obviously as you guys know, the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold, and I always use the centre shade, which is the more pinky shade. I just love using this for my highlighter. I think it looks so nice in person and in pictures. It's blinding enough that it looks very nice, but it doesn't look overpowering, if that makes any sense. I have also been using those iconic drops, but for powder highlighter, this one is my favourite at the moment. It just gives such a wet, like glassy look to the skin without being shimmery, but I love it. I really do enjoy this highlighter. I also just put some down my nose and a little bit on my chin. Right, now for brows, I literally always use the same product, which is the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Brow Lift in the shade Supermodel. This is my favourite brow pencil at the moment. It's just a really good colour for my brows. But I have also been really loving this MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint. This is kind of like a pen brow product, which I've really been loving to create more natural fluffy brows. This is in the shade Lingering, and this is what I use after I've used the Charlotte Tilbury one, so I actually use them together. So basically what I do is just brush my brows all the way up so that the hair is all in the same direction, and then I just take the Charlotte Tilbury pencil first, and I basically do like a kind of line, like a soft line underneath my whole brow, just to sort of like mark out where I want my brow to sit. I basically just follow the natural shape, though I don't really make them any bigger or anything crazy like that. And then all I do from there is just take the pencil kind of on its edge and I kind of like flick up so that it creates quite a natural hair stroke look, and then I basically just fill in the rest. And I do a line along the top as well and then bring that down to the tail. And I always go a little bit stronger at the end of the brow than I do at the beginning, just to make it a little bit more sort of like softer at the beginning of the brow. And then I just go back through and brush it all up so they're all in the same direction. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see a little bit better with the MAC pen. All I like to do with this is basically just go in and create tiny little hair strokes, kind of like below where I've already done the Charlotte Tilbury, just to kind of create more of a fluffy look. Let me see if I can zoom you in more so you can see. So this will make my brows a tiny bit bigger, like up here, a tiny bit fatter, but I don't mind because they look quite natural. And then I also do a few little hair strokes at the front as well. Then all I do is I literally just go in with some clear gel. This is the NYX Control Freak gel. I love this one. It's just a clear gel. It holds your brows in place all day long. So I'm just going to do my other brow really quickly off camera and then I'll be right back to finish up the face. Right, so I'm back. My other brow is gone. I was actually gone for ages. I had like my lunch, had some pom bears. So now I'm ready to finish up my makeup. My makeup does change a lot, like day to day. Like I obviously love makeup and I really enjoy it. So that means I change up my makeup quite a lot. Like I don't do the same looks every single day. But recently I've been really enjoying on a daily basis using the new Charlotte Tilbury palette. This one is the Exagger-eyes palette. And I just really have been enjoying using this for every day. I just think it looks really pretty on. So what I like to do is take the matte shade in the palette and just take that on basically any kind of fluffy eye brush. This one is a little mini Charlotte Tilbury one that I got in a Christmas set. But basically all I'm going to do is run that through the kind of crease of my eye, but focus it on the outer corner. So this is just how I prefer my eyeshadow shape to be, kind of like more focused on the outer corner to sort of lift my eye. I like to just take this in kind of like a wing shape on my eye and just really sort of pull that out, just because like I said, that I just find that that's what suits my eye shape best. Then just on a small brush, I'm just going to run the same shade along the lower lash line. So now that's all on, I like to go in with this shade at the top, which is kind of like a sparkly gold. And I just literally take that on my finger and basically just put that on the lid. To be honest, this isn't my favourite shade. I don't really find that it does much. It's kind of just like a wishy-washy shimmer, but it creates a nice base for the shimmery shade that I'm going to put on top of it in a minute. And then what I do is take this shade from the palette, which is the Super Glittery Pop shade, with my finger again, and then just literally put that across the whole lid. So obviously just focusing that in the inner corner of the eye as well. And then with a clean finger, I just kind of go in and like blend it so it's not like a harsh line of shimmer. Then what I do is take the Charlotte Tilbury Audrey pencil. This is a powder pencil, and I'm just going to do a little wing on the outside of my eye just to sort of lift it up a little bit. So for mascara, I've been really loving the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara. This one is just a little mini size that I got, but I probably will buy the full size because this is probably the best mascara that I've ever tried. So I'm just going to basically put a shit ton of mascara on, because I like my lashes to look really kind of, well, as dramatic as possible without actually putting lashes on. I don't really wear lashes on a daily basis just because I really don't have the time for that, and also I feel like it looks a little bit too much for every single day. For my lips today, I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lip liner, which is my favourite lip liner of all time. This is the one I use literally every single day. And then I'm going to be going on top with the MAC lipstick in the shade Faux. Right guys, so that is literally the finished look. That is how I would usually do my makeup on a daily basis. Obviously it does slightly change, but this is what I've been going for recently. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please give this video a like and also subscribe to my channel. That would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.